Welcome to the T-Squared Dad's Brown Bag Podcast. Here's your hosts, Kyle Baker and Dieter Burrell. Hey, welcome back to the T-Squared Dad's Brown Bag Podcast. It's Kyle and Dieter. This week, first and foremost, we want to give a shout out to everybody listening. We've had a great past couple weeks. We've surpassed the 300 download mark. So we just want to give you guys a big thank you for that. We hope that you guys are, enjoying what we're talking about, and we will continue to bring that to you. So thanks again.
300. Woohoo!
So, Dieter, what's been going on, man? I mean, I know you guys were out of town this weekend and stuff like that. Anything special?
Yeah, went out to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and took our little one. Our daughter does gymnastics, and she went out there. We had a great time. We turned it into a little weekend thing. So everybody, my son could enjoy getting out of the house and staying at the hotel. He likes staying at the hotel. It's like, oh, we're running off. Dad, we're going to go stay at the hotel. Yep, we're going to make it a mini vacation, and then we'll watch your sister do gymnastics for 3-4 hours. So it was fun. It was only downfall was we had this, it looks like this, I don't know what kind of size rock we had hit the windshield, and it chipped the windshield. So this morning I called the auto light or safe light, I think it was. Oh, yeah. And we scheduled it between 8 and 12. You guys gotta love that. 8 and 12. Everything's 8 and 12 with these cable company, the Cox cable, the telephone company, the electric company. Yeah, between 8 and 12. Don't you guys hate that? Don't you hate that?
Yeah. And by the way, you got to call Lloyd's Auto Glass, man. You get a box of free steaks.
I should have.
Can't turn a box of free steaks down.
So my wife says, you just scheduled it from 8 to 12. What did they call you right away? What are the chances? Guess what, guys? They called 10 minutes after.
Oh, man. They had a not so busy Monday. Well, it sounds like you had a better weekend, at least some more fun than what I did, man. As you know, we've been selling our house, and we said we were moving all weekend, packing up and everything. We got to be out of there this week, and I'm hurting all over from lifting couches and dressers.
What are you talking about? You're making a killing on that sale of that house. Are you kidding me?
Well, the market is good right now, so we were able to capitalize on that with us getting ready to build a house. But so now we have to go from the house we were living in into a rental, and then in about 12 months into the new house that I've designed and that we're going to build. But man, it's been crazy. It's been a roller coaster with all of the different, realtors and inspections and everything like that. I mean, it has been nuts as far as that stuff's concerned.
Whatever happened? I remember you telling me a little bit about your roofers. They went and inspected the roof, and you had 2 or 3 roofers saying that you needed a roof, and then you call your insurance company. What was that all about?
Yeah, so the house that I was living in was about 17 years old, and it had a roof from whenever it was originally built, and it was a 25-year roof, so it still had a little bit of life on it, but it was coming to the end, and the buyer wanted us to get it looked at. And so she had actually 3 different roofing inspectors come out there, all of which are roofers that just were coming to inspect the roof so that they could give a quote and things like that. And they all came out one after the next, about a day apart or whatever, and all of them climbed up on the roof, got underneath it in the attic, and all of them basically said, 100%, you need to get this roof replaced. It's old, it's damaged, there's tons of damage all over it. We're surprised it's not leaking already. It's so bad. So we did not want to have to redo the roof. It was just kind of with 2 kids at the house and everything. We didn't really want to have to schedule that and figure out when we were going to do it and have them come out and deal with paying for it out of closing. And you know how it goes. It's just a whole can of worms you don't really want to open if you don't have to. But they kept saying that it all looked like it was hurricane damage from that hurricane that we had back in September, Hurricane Sally. And so we were thinking about, we've been paying our insurance for the past 5 years, never made a claim. Maybe we should make a claim if it's that bad. The roof was going to cost somewhere between $15,000 and $18,000, so we've been paying into the insurance. Let's use it. So we call our insurance company, and they send out an inspector, and we start the claim process, and the inspector comes out, and he looks over the roof, and Doesn't really give away too much at the time. Doesn't kind of tell us anything. And from the ground, I mean, being in architecture and everything like that, I can kind of look at it and know whenever it doesn't look bad. It looks fine.
Right.
There might be a couple places around the chimney where you have like a lifted shingle or something. So the inspector came out from the insurance company. He does his thing. We receive a call 4 or 5 days later. The insurance company lets us know that the inspector found no absolutely necessary damage that needed to be repaired. And the one spot that he did find was a lifted shingle that had like an acorn underneath it, where it had blown underneath there, but it was still firmly attached to the entire 3-tab, which we have architectural shingles, so there's a little bit of fluctuation in them, but that was it. And we were like, okay, well, our deductible's $5,000. How much is the repair? And she was like, oh, it'll be, $400 or $500. We're like, obviously, we don't want to continue this claim if that's all that we were going to be able to get. So we told our realtor, we're not going to replace the roof based on everything we found. We're not going to replace the roof. We're not going to pay for it. We'd already given a $5,000 credit, unfortunately, to the buyer for the roofing companies. But I told the realtor, I said, are these roofers in the business of coming out and making inspections and telling you that you don't need a new roof, or are they in the business of finding roofs that need to be repaired and then them making money off of doing the repair? And so, that's kind of a bigger picture, just a small piece of it about, if you're having inspections done, if you're having anything like that, you want to make sure you're having someone that's doing it that doesn't really have any skin in the game other than just the fee you're paying them to come inspect the roof.
Get an adjuster, probably.
Right.
A freelance adjuster to go out there and check it.
Yeah. Well, see, and then at the same time is who really was right? Was it the roofer? Like, is my roof really bad? Do I need to replace it? Or is the insurance provider, they don't want to have to pay for it, so they think it's fine?
Well, it's a catch-22 because who's paying the inspector for the insurance company? The insurance company is paying this. So why would he say to you, say, oh yeah, you need a roof, when the insurance company is telling us, like, hey, the less claims you put in, the more bonuses you're going to get. I mean, I'm just kind of talking. I don't know the details of it. I mean, but I mean, a roofer, you can tell us, like, hey, I want you to come inspect the roof. But I just want to let you know, there's no guarantee I'm going to give you any other job. So I'm still going to pay you $100 just to come inspect it. So just know that even if you put a claim on it that it needs to be replaced, I'm still not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Well, because all of a sudden it's like it'd be a fair shake. Because it's like, all right, I'll just check it and get my $100, and if I think it is worth replacing, then it's replaceable.
Yeah, like I just want to have the information. Just give me the straight information. We found 14 spots. Here's pictures of each. The E-vent is loose. Whatever. Just give me the information, and I can make that decision. But as soon as you start allowing the people that are going to be doing the work make those decisions for you, I just don't think that information is going to be 100% truthful.
Yeah, I think it happens to a lot of people. I know that I had to get a roof inspection done in my house because my insurance company sent me a letter. This only happens in Florida. I don't know what other states it happens to anybody. You folks need to go out there and check with your own state agency to find out, or your insurance company, see if this happens. But here in the state of Florida, because we have so many hurricanes, the insurance companies can deny you coverage based on the age of the roof. So if the roof is, I guess it's in good condition up to 5 years, they'll maintain the coverage. But after those, they'll come back and they tell you have to replace the roof.
Yeah, and that's kind of what was happening to our buyer. She was telling us, hey, I can't get insurance on this house. I want to buy it, but I can't get insurance because of the roof. You guys are going to have to replace it. And that's not 100% true. You can get insurance. One, you can do a leave-out insurance where you get insurance for everything except for the roof on the house. And two is you can just pay a much higher monthly rate to have them cover that. It's kind of like having a really old car. Sometimes in order for them to cover that, or a really expensive car. So, she was able to find insurance without us having to replace the roof. You just have to do a little bit more digging. You can't just call up, everybody's normal home insurance provider, whoever that may be, and just, oh yeah, I'm buying a house, and they'll just cover you. You got to do a little bit more legwork in order to make that happen. But the insurance is really what's kind of driving that. And you replaced your roof not too long ago, didn't you?
I went ahead and replaced it, because this is what I did. I was trying to be savvy. I was trying to be a savvy homeowner. And I said, I'm going to call a roofer. And the first roofer tells me, oh no, you need to replace that roof. That roof is under the 5-year. You're gonna have to replace
without ever even seeing it.
Yeah, and I said, I don't want to quote. He goes, do you want me to give you a quote? I go, no, I don't want a quote from you. Well, you still got to pay me. That's fine. I'll pay you $100, $150, whatever. So I called another roofer. I go check it out. So they went out there and they said, we did the inspection. Do you want the report? He goes, yeah, I want the report. Let me have it. He goes, well, you got to pay first. Well, I'm good for it. Just tell me if the roof. No, you. So right after I sent the credit, I gave her the credit card information and this expiration date. I see an email come through my box, and she goes, "You should receive an email shortly." And yeah, you need to replace the roof. She tells me afterwards, right after she processed the credit card. But anyway, so I went and did call a couple of different roofers and try to see, hey guys, I'm telling you, I'm not going to give you the job. Just tell me if it needs it. They ended up being that yes, I needed the roof to be replaced. So I ended up refinancing the house and then having the roof redone on that. So it was a pain. It was a pain to go through it, but the debate was, well, if this insurance company denies me, there's probably like 10 other ones that are going to deny me till I hit the one that maybe the 11th one where you got the situation where it's like, yeah, we'll cover it, but guess what? Your $1,500 a year that you pay for insurance is going to be $3,000.
Right.
Who in their right mind is going to pay $3,000 for insurance nowadays here in Florida? I mean, it's a lot of money. So sometimes it's better just to refinance, replace the roof, and then you're back to your $1,500. And sometimes you can even do improvements to your roof.
Right.
So I think a lot of you guys out there in Florida and in the coast, South Carolina, all the way down to Texas, I think that anybody that's in the coast, they know all these hurricane resistant requirements that the insurance companies have, like shutters and water barriers, all this kind of mumbo jumbo stuff that I'm not going to get into it because it's like very technical wording for this kind of stuff. But I mean, it's kind of stuff that we had to deal with.
Yeah. It has been quite the journey. So, we were not going to sell our house for probably another year. We were going to wait until about three months before our house was done being built. But with the way the market's been right now, it just made sense. We got probably 10-15% more for our house than what we were expecting to, just because the market's so good right now for sellers. Tell us a little bit about that, because I've heard two sides. I've heard the guys that are saying the guys that are in it and they own property, they're just selling it because there's a buyer's market right now in Florida. There's such an overwhelming demand for housing. Yeah. Because people are moving from northern states down to southern states, and Florida is the number one state in the nation of people coming down from northern states. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about the migration of people from up north. One of my buddies, he just sold his house. In fact, he's one of the reasons why we decided to go ahead and put our house on the market. And someone that came down to buy his house was from like North Tennessee or something like that. And, Florida's always been a destination for older people, a place to retire. We have great weather most of the time. So, but what I've also seen is that COVID has kind of driven that. A lot of these more northern states have been locking down and things like that. And some of those people are trying to leave to come to Florida where, it's almost business as usual.
Sunshine State.
That's right. It's the beginning of March and it's 75 degrees and sunny outside. And, sure, we're masking up and stuff like that whenever we can. But, it's almost a different world down here right now, for the good or the bad. But yeah, as far as putting our house on the market and doing those types of things, it was, like I said, quite the journey. And we didn't decide we were going to do it until like the week of. I had a realtor come out. She told us a couple things that we needed to do to the place just to kind of freshen it up. We took good care of it anyway, but, a little bit of painting here and there, pick up, declutter, those kinds of things. And we basically got it on the market on a Thursday night, went through Friday, had a showing Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday morning. And by Sunday afternoon, we had 3 offers. 3 people that saw it, 3 offers.
Wow.
And we were able to pick which one we wanted and so on and so forth. But the reason was that my realtor told me is that there was no other house within like a 40-mile radius that met those same criteria. Because as soon as they're coming on the market, they're going off the market. Same as ours. It was on the market for 2 days. And some aren't even on the market that long. Some people have pocket listings where they're not even ever hitting the market and they have a buyer. They just have like someone that's looking to buy from their realtor that now they're also the selling realtor and they're just selling in amongst themselves before it ever even hits the market.
Now, let me kind of jump in here real quick because I've heard of that before. And you guys don't know out there, but I also hold a real estate license. And I know the Florida Real Estate Commission, there's some fine lines between what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And, I don't know where that line goes that the realtors come in and out because there's a level of, do people feel comfortable? It's like as a realtor to kind of do that kind of stuff, I'm not going to make a listing. I'm just trying to try to sell it outright myself.
Right.
It's like a for sale by owner.
Yeah. Well, that's what my sister-in-law did.
It's like an ethics thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, my sister-in-law, I guess it's been almost a year now, and it was right whenever the market was turning upward and becoming much more of a seller's market. There wasn't a lot on the line or on for listings and options out there. She put her house up for sale by owner. Sold it in 2 days, didn't have to pay commissions and things like that. But right now is the time when you can do that kind of a thing. She doesn't have kids, she just has a husband, and they're busy but not crazy. So I'd almost thought about doing that myself, but it's a lot of work to sell a house. So for us, it was worth getting a realtor involved, doing all the legwork for you, filling all the paperwork, making sure that they're the ones communicating with the buyer and everything. She was having to do that. Now, they made a little bit more money by doing that themselves, but it was well worth it to me to have a realtor involved.
Now, I hear this all the time. People say, well, how much you guys charge? The average out there for just residential under $500,000 is usually like 6%.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
I mean, think about it, guys. It's like 6% of 100 is $6,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily our realtor, it's the same realtor that we bought the house from 5 years ago. And, everything went smooth with that. So she gave us a little bit of a break. And I think we ended up at like 5.5%. Gave us a little 0.5% deduction because she would work with us, But, I mean, still, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars to pay this person. And I would say if you have a realtor, let your realtor do the job. Don't try to micromanage them. Don't do anything like that. If something comes up, have them handle it. That's their job. That's what you're paying them thousands of dollars to do. The normal person maybe makes, $5,000 a month, something like that. Well, they're about to make $15,000 in a matter of 45 days.
But wait a minute, Kyle. Isn't micromanaging like the best thing because you know better than anyone else?
Well, if you do think that, I know I don't know better than that realtor, so I was not trying to micromanage. But the other thing, my wife, we would try to call the realtor on the weekends, and she's like, don't bother her. And I'm like, that's when she's doing 90% of her business. People are going to look at homes on the weekends. So I was like, I don't have a problem calling her at, 6 o'clock at night on a Saturday. And that's what I would do. I'm like, hey, I'm paying this lady to do all this work for me. I'm paying her a lot of money. So she should answer the phone. And if she can't take the call, then I'll leave a voicemail and she can get back to me when she is.
The house was for sale for 2 days.
Yeah, she didn't even show it. Because with COVID, she isn't showing the houses. She's just putting a lockbox on the door. And I'm not trying to diminish anything about what the realtor did. She's done a fantastic job. I know realtors work really, really hard, and it's feast or famine. And right now for them, it's a lot of feasting. So that's fine. But there's going to be times when it's famine too. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you're a realtor, you're not taking any offense to that. But, you might want to put some of that money away because the market's going to shift, that's for sure. But I would call her on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon and ask her a question. Hey, I'm looking at this. Do I need to do that? Should I spend the money to upgrade all my lighting fixtures, or should I spend the money, having the yard professionally done? And she would tell me, hey, you can do that, but you're not going to get any more money for the house. And that's because of the market that we're in. When I was with my parents growing up and we would sell a house, you would try to upgrade anything that you could because you were competing against 50 other houses in your area. There were tons of options. When people would go look at houses, they would go look at 20. Well, right now, the way it is, when you go look at houses, you look at 2 and you throw an offer in as soon as possible, because if you don't, it's gone. And that's how the rental market is too. So when I was trying to find a rental, we tried to go see, gosh, if I had to guess, probably 25 or 30 different houses. And by the time we could even find it on Zillow or something like that, call the realtor, the person hosting the listing, send an email, do everything. Oh, it's already under contract. Oh, it's already under contract. Oh, we already have an application. If that one doesn't go through, we'll give you a call, but there are 3 other people in line. And I'm like, holy moly.
Maybe I should just go back into real estate.
Right. Now would be the time. Just make sure you have something on the back burner for whenever it dies off. But, we got lucky and had a family friend that just so happened to have a rental come available, and, that would fit for our family and everything like that. So we did get really lucky with that. Like I said, it's been a wild journey for the past, I guess it's almost been 40 days now since we started the process.
And you're closing. When are you closing?
We're closing this Friday.
Ooh, man, party at Kyle's.
That's right. Once it's all said and done, we get everything moved. I'll be ready for a adult beverage and a cigar or something to celebrate.
That sounds like fun. The other thing that I did here, I was listening to it wasn't a podcast. It was a guy that he has his own YouTube channel, and he was talking about how real estate could be seen in a different angle. They're saying that he's hearing both sides. People are saying, "Oh, you got to sell your house because it's a seller's market," and some people are saying it's like, "Oh, the potential of the real estate kind of collapsing is coming." Now, I don't know if anybody has heard that out there. Well, what he's saying is like, if you guys look at the statistics here in Florida, there is nothing that's going to collapse here in Florida. There's such a big boom right now, and we're sort of like in the very beginning of it.
Yeah. Well, and one thing also to remember, people are talking about selling their houses because they're going to get so much more money for them right now. But you also have to remember, you still have to live somewhere. So if you're selling in a seller's market, you're also then buying in a seller's market. So you're going to sell your house for more, but you're also going to have to pay more for the house that you're about to buy. One thing that I kind of got lucky with was, because we're building a house, that cost is roughly going to be the same now as it was 2 years ago versus 2 years from now. So I'm selling in a seller's market, but I'm building in a seller's market. So it's a little bit different. I have a buddy of mine that he sold his house and he got a good deal for it, and then he had to overpay for the next house that he bought. It's still a move up, but he's going to have to hold that mortgage for the next 20 years or however long he's going to be there. So you have to keep in mind, if you're thinking about selling right now in the seller's market, that's a great idea, but just know that you're also going to have to buy in a seller's market. We ran into that situation where, trying to find the rental, we were scared there for a little bit that we were going to sell our house, and we didn't make our house sale contingent upon us being able to get a rental. So it was kind of scary to be, what are we going to do? We're going to have to cancel this contract, or are we just going to have to go live with our parents for a little while with our kids? I would definitely say, if you're in the process of thinking about selling, now's a great time. If you're just selling because you're trying to capitalize on the market, I don't necessarily think that that's something that you should do, unless you have another place to live while that's going to happen. Because if you buy now because you're selling now, you're not really making any money. You're just trading it off one for another. But it's an interesting market, that's for sure, right now.
Yeah, I'm not planning on selling or buying anything right now. I know I got family members asking me if it's a good time to buy, and you could take 2 angles. You can say, well, right now it's just beginning to take off, but that's a gamble, because what if we're at the high end of it? And because I hear people saying predictions like, oh, 2021, the end of it is you're going to have some sort of real estate adjustment. And what if it does? I mean, it's all hypothetical, because you don't know. You can't foretell the future. But what if it did happen? All of a sudden, you find yourself having bought a house for $300,000, and all of a sudden it just dips for an entire year and your house is worth 180.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just be careful. I mean, that's all I can really say. But anyway, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Again, shout out to everybody that is listening. You know, Dieter and I are so excited about how things are going with this podcast. We're really gaining some traction, getting a ton of downloads. Thanks to everyone that's, you know, being a part of this process. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Where's that joke?
Dieter, I did not forget the joke of the day. Here it is. Why didn't the hipster real estate agent show the oceanside mansion? It was too current. Thanks for listening to the T-Squared Dad's Brown Bag Podcast. Please subscribe on your favorite platform, and we will talk to you next time.